Welcome back, guys, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of Terrible Towel Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic, along with the Terrible Towel. And this is the season finale, guys, as far as the season recap. I will probably continue to do a couple of these from time to time, as different transactions happen and things like that. I may pop in from time to time and give my thoughts on the team, the upcoming season and things like that. But this will be the official last season show, as far as the actual 2015 season. So, sad but true. It is what it is. We had a wonderful season. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about what transpired in the game. I mean, hey, you got to give a hats off to the Pittsburgh Steelers, this 2015 team. I mean, we saw a lot this year. A lot of ups, a lot of downs. We did go 10-6. Great to have another winning season, get into the postseason, win the first round, get to the divisional round, and had a chance. We had a chance, man, and we've overcome so much, with all of the injuries and things like that. We overcame a lot. You think about all of the injuries and, all of the people who didn't play for a significant amount of time. You start off the year, no Le'Veon Bell for 2 games. Le'Veon Bell comes back. Ben Roethlisberger gets hurt. You know what I mean? No Martavis Bryant for 4 games. No Ben Roethlisberger for 4 games or so. Ben comes back. He gets hurt a couple times in game. Just a lot of different situations. Michael Vick has to play quarterback for us. Landry Jones has to play quarterback for us. No Marquise Pouncey. Kelvin Beachum goes down. You know what I mean? D'Angelo Williams goes down here in the latter part of the season. It's just, they overcame a lot. A young secondary, a new defensive coordinator, which, the core definitely is still, reminiscent to what Dick LeBeau did, obviously with Keith Butler being with us for X amount of years as a linebacker coach, being promoted to the coordinator. But, you started to see us do a little thing, a few things a little different, some more man coverage and things like that. We definitely got back into blitzing safeties and things like that. But, it's just going to take a little bit of time, I think, for those guys to come around. I like what I see from a guy like Ross Cockrell. I like what I see from Brandon Boykin. Later on in the season, he started getting more playing time. We all know the deal with Antoine Blake. He's a little bit of a liability on the outside. But I'll get into that in just a minute. Talk a little bit about the game, man. I think the game, it almost came down to us being able to win it. Unfortunately, we all know what happened with the fumble. Fitzgerald Toussaint, and I'm not going to beat that man up over that. Of course, you need to secure the ball more. He's a young guy as well, as far as, his time playing in the NFL, as well as actual playing time. There's just things that he has to learn. It's unfortunate that it has to go down like that. I'm pretty sure he's going to take that personally as if he lost the game for us. But, you got to hold on to the ball, man, in that situation. I personally feel like on that drive, I felt very comfortable with what Ben Roethlisberger was doing. He had the offense clicking. I really feel like that may have been another touchdown coming. We were already on about the 34. Looks like Toussaint is going to pick up the first down. We're moving. Worst case scenario, the Wizard of Oz is probably going to come in if we can't get another first down or get into the end zone. Probably get a field goal. At that point, you go up. What it would have been, 16-12 at that point. You force Denver to score a touchdown. Now, some people will say, well, they did score a touchdown after the fumble, but we all know how that goes. It's momentum. The momentum shift. Speaking of which, we still ended up getting them in a 3rd and 12, and Peyton Manning converts a 3rd and 12, but William Gay was in prime position to knock the ball down or get the interception. And I don't really know necessarily what happened there, but you got to come up with that play. May have been a better throw by Peyton Manning. There's no defense for a perfect pass. It is what it is. I'm just saying, man, we had opportunities. I'm not going to put it all on Toussaint. We had opportunities to win that game. But I'm going to be honest, man, and I think a lot of us could feel this way. I didn't feel very confident going into the game. You're going into the game without Antonio Brown, which we all know what he brings to the offense. And not only the obvious, but looking at what he did to Denver last time, of course they would focus a lot on him, which would have opened up other people. But we get into the game and you see other people are able to get open. You know, Sammy Coates comes up, makes some big catches. Martavis Bryant has a huge game, you know, catching the ball as well as the end around again. You know, just phenomenal effort. You know, Marcus Whedon makes a couple catches. Darius Hayward-Bay makes a couple catches. So it's like Ben had the offense going, and that's another thing. We didn't know what Ben was going to, you know, where he was going to be health-wise. I didn't really see too much effect of that shoulder injury. Now, you know, knowing my team the way I know them and kind of watching Ben and knowing how he plays, I did see a couple times where you could tell we were doing certain things because of the injury. But it's, in terms of arm strength and, you know, him having the ability to chuck it downfield, it was happening. You know, he basically, I would say, he was able to do enough to win that game. You know, I thought it was key when we came out and went deep right away on first down, first series, you know, the first drive of the game. I think that sent a message to Denver to let them know, okay, you know, he can pass the ball, so we're not going to be able to crowd the box or anything like that. But I don't know, man. We just came up short. You know, it's really not a whole lot I can say about that game in terms of how it went. You know, to be honest, the Steelers, we basically, once we took the lead, we kept the lead for a long time. I mean, the Broncos did go up 6-0 right out the gate. You know, they get the field goals, what have you. It was good for us to hold them 2 field goals. And then we go down and get a score. You know, and then after that, we didn't surrender the lead until late in the fourth quarter. And that's probably where we fell short. You know, they were able to put a long drive together. I think they burnt up about 7 minutes in the fourth quarter, scored a touchdown, and that pretty much killed it. But we had opportunities, man. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about that. I'll just say that I'm very proud of the effort that the team put forth. Very proud of that. You know, it's very encouraging seeing what these guys did. You know what I mean? Like I said, under the circumstances, you know, a banged up Ben Roethlisberger, no Antonio Brown, no D'Angelo Williams, obviously no Le'Veon Bell. I mean, they put together a pretty good effort. You know, and even guys like Cody Wallace and, you know, Alejandro Villanueva, you got to tip your hat to those guys, man. They played very well due to the circumstances of injuries throughout the year. You know, it's just a nice team effort, man, this whole season. I think the guys fought very hard to get where we got to. But again, you look back in the season, a couple of those games, man, that we could have possibly won. You know, it could have changed the whole dynamic. You know, you definitely look at the first Cincinnati game. That's a game that we probably could have won. Again, another situation where we're leading. Going into the fourth quarter, I mean, down to like 3 or 4 minutes left in the game. And Ben, you know, I know he came back off an injury. He throws a couple interceptions. He gets Cincinnati right back in prime position. They get a late touchdown. They win that game. That's a game we should have had. You look at the first Baltimore game, okay? All we got to do is finish a drive. All we had to do is finish the drive, get a first down. The game's over. You got Antonio Brown wide open. Michael Vick is unable to throw the ball low enough into a position where Brown can catch it. We lose the game. Again, that's another winnable game. And like I said before, had we been 12-4, you know, I'm not even going to be greedy and say we should have won them all. But had we been 12-4, puts us in a different position. You know, you get a home playoff game, possibly the number 2 seed. I'm just saying, you know, but you know, hindsight is 20/20, man. You can't look backwards. Like I said, I like what I saw from the team for the most part. I think the areas that we definitely need to focus on, and I'll go ahead and wrap up the video with this. I know a lot of guys asked how I felt about the team, you know, next season. I think this is what we definitely need to do. You know, it's funny because it's the same theme the last couple years. We definitely need to get the secondary intact. You know, I think this is an opportunity for us to grab a corner first or second round, a big name corner. The reason why I say that is I think the guys that we have there can play. So there's an opportunity to go ahead and draft a guy and let him learn from the veterans, get a little playing time. I mean, if he excels in training camp, try him out. But we have guys there that can play and can come up with plays. You know, like I said, I like Cockrell. I like Boykin. You know, let's not forget Sinquez Golson. Of course, William Gay. These guys are not bad. You know, they're not the best secondary, but they're not bad. You know, part of that as well is the safety play. Mike Mitchell had a pretty good year. I'm not going to say great, but he had a pretty solid year. But, safety is still an area that it seems like we could use a little more help, especially at strong safety. I love Will Allen, but I think we definitely need somebody else to help out there, even though I think Robert Golden is a guy to keep an eye on as well. But we have to remember, some of these guys' contracts are coming due. So, it's all going to depend on what's left after, the off-season transitions and things like that, and, transactions, I guess you would want to say as well, because I know we'll probably pick up a few free agents, nobody big ticket, no big name, we don't do that. But it'll be interesting to see where we are come the draft. But in terms of next season, I really think, man, the Steelers, I think we are getting back on track to being a team that always makes the playoffs. It definitely appears that way. The last 2 years we got into the playoffs, right? And then, you look at the strength of schedule this past season. Probably, if I'm not mistaken, it was the toughest schedule in the NFL. And look how we turned out. We could have very well have been a 12-14, possibly 13-3. You see what I mean? And I think with that potent offense, everyone's going to be back for the most part at the, the money spots. Wide receiver, quarterback, running back. I can't wait to see Le'Veon Bell and D'Angelo Williams healthy together. Not really, I won't say they're splitting carries, but imagine D'Angelo Williams being able to spell Bell. You know what I mean? Like, that's going to be crazy combination right there. I would imagine we might even see a couple sets, because I know we got them, where you have a split back, and you got Le'Veon Bell on one side, D'Angelo Williams on the other, Martavis Bryant out there, Antonio Brown, and whoever's going to be in that third spot. Marcus Wheaton. Let's keep an eye on Marcus Wheaton. Let's see what's going to happen with him. As far as, contract situations and things, like, we're going to see, because, Sammy Coates could mess around and slide in that spot. We'll see. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff to consider. I can't remember. I think Marcus Wheaton is on his last year of his contract, I think. I'm not 100% sure, but a lot of those things I have to look at, man. Like I said, there's a lot to still talk about after the season, so I'll be doing a couple of these. But, it's not going to be every Tuesday, obviously. Even on the defensive side of the ball, like Jarvis Jones, I think he'll be going into his fourth year. I think he did play fairly well this year. A better season than he's had. Not a breakout season, but he played fairly well. But like I said, he's still under contract. So, it's going to depend on what some of these players are going to do. I know we have a lot of free agents that's coming due. A lot of backup guys, that have been on our roster that, their contracts are going to expire. And I'm definitely not sure if we're going to bring any of these guys back. D'Angelo Williams, I know he signed a 2-year deal. Even like James Harrison, I believe he signed a 2-year deal, and it's up to him whether he wants to come back. So we'll see. But my outlook for next year, man, just to get back on track, I think the offense is very potent, very powerful. I don't have any fears with that. I think it's only going to get better with time. Martavis Bryant, I think, is going to be even better in his third year. He stepped up this year, but he still has some room to grow, man. Making the tough catches and things like that. But I think that boy is going to get himself together. He definitely shows you that he has big play capability, whether it's an end around or downfield. But once we can make him a multifaceted receiver, which I think he will be, it's going to be something to deal with. Antonio Brown is going to be Antonio Brown. Like I said, whoever's at the third receiver spot, I think it's going to be a playmaker as well. Sammy Coates looks like a guy that's going to be official. Could be Marcus Wheaton. I don't know. Haywood Bay, do we keep him? I don't know. I like Haywood Bay for other reasons. Special teams. This guy gets a lot of tackles. So it's a lot to talk about, man. I know I could sit here and go on for days. I don't want this video to be extremely long. I think we're already past the 10-minute mark. But, that's my outlook for next year. I think we will be back in the playoffs. Could very well be back in the same situation that we were in this year. Divisional round and perhaps the AFC Championship. I never like to, put a Super Bowl prediction in the air. I never do that. I like to watch the games, watch the season, see what type of team we have, see how we are playing, see what's driving the team for that year, whether if it's a defensive shutdown team or overly powerful offensive team. Then I make my determination throughout the year, and based on who we're playing, looking at the games and the matchups and seeing how we've played certain teams, then I can say, okay, we look like a team that may be able to get to the Super Bowl. This year, you guys knew I was the main one saying I didn't even think we were a playoff team because our defense, it was just so spotty. But they showed times that they could lock down and play. Played a great game Sunday night. Great game. I'm sorry, it was Saturday. They played a great game on Saturday, man. I mean, played a great game. The second half of the first game against the Broncos, we played great. The first game against Cincinnati, I mean, we've shown times that we could be a solid defense. Very good in the red zone, but we need to tighten it up in between the numbers, from 20 to 20. And, just try to produce more stability. Just be a consistent defense. My dream would be right now, if we can get back in the top 10 defensively overall, then I think we'll be a team to really deal with. All right. But that's about all I got, man. This was a wonderful season, man. I really enjoyed it. What can you say? It can only be one at the end, and we're not that. But applause and hats off to the team, man, and everyone who helped out with the coaching staff and the players or what have you. Great job, man. Let's get ready to come back next season and make another run at it. But that's all I got for you today, guys. Definitely leave your thoughts, leave your comments. Don't forget to hit that like button and, share your thoughts about what you think the Steelers will be come 2016 and, how you felt about this season. All right, guys, that's going to do it for now. Like always, let me know what you think. Here we go, Steelers. We'll be back. Peace. Once again, guys, thanks for coming by. And if you want to interact with me live, head on over to Sim Standard Radio every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, along with Smitty and Azure Effect. The call-in number for the show is down in the description. Now, of course, for more content, go ahead and click the link above. And before you go, don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. All right, guys. Until next time, lights out.